check yours.
I'm waiting on my slow computer right now as we speak.
Okay.
Nothing for me.
I'll refresh the page.
Can you all hear us, family?
Head to ChristianBook.com and check out our cyber deals. For a limited time, get free.
Maybe something has started.
Yes. Okay. Good. Good. Shalom, family. Shalom. Donald Trump is trying to kick millions off of food stamps.
Well, we hear it's 700 million. I wonder, is that an accurate number?
Is that
No,
right?
it can't be 700 million because it's not even that many
Yeah.
people.
I saw millions.
Millions,
So, yeah.
I saw a few different articles. But anyway, it's definitely not that number. That's not, the population is less than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are a number of articles we were looking at, and we know that this is going to affect a lot of people.
That's right.
And right now we've seen in the chat already, and I agree with you all, that a lot of his people will be affected by that as well.
Yes.
So people of all walks of life will be affected by this, and it's unfortunate that nobody's taking things serious at all. When these things come upon us, that's when we start to react, and that's historically how our people have been. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and read at least some of this article, and then we'll just get into it and just talk about a few things that we could be doing, and even ask you all some questions as far as ideas that can be implemented to help our families.
Yes.
Okay, it says the Trump administration is trying to kick millions off of food stamps.
Notice it says Happy Holidays. And you look at these two. The thing that gets me is when you look at the face of these two, they sit back laughing like it's a big joke, and they playing with people's lives, but they sitting up with millions and billions of dollars, and it's like a joke to them. With people's lives are at stake, but that's how it is. That's exactly how it is.
Yes, that's the attitude of a narcissist.
Yeah.
They typically don't care about others, or they're just detached away from the pain and suffering that they cause others.
Yes.
And they're all into their own selves. But it says, in addition to demonizing immigrants and ruining the United States' reputation abroad, one of the many pet projects of Donald Trump's administration is to make life more miserable for the poor. Over the summer, the president indicated that his team thought low-income families were getting a little too greedy about food. Oh my goodness.
That's something.
Are we serious here?
No, this is crazy.
And on Wednesday, the said team announced a new plan designed to kick hundreds of thousands of people off of food stamps. Now this says hundreds of thousands, but up top it said millions. So let's just say a large number of people.
Yes.
Whoever wrote this article here is not being very clear. When you say kick millions off, then hundreds of thousands. Okay. Anyway, it says the rule, which has just been finalized, will tighten work requirements for able-bodied adults with no dependents. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said in a call with reporters, and as with most Trump administration policies, the details are uniquely cruel. And that's according to the Washington Post. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to forcing able-bodied people to work.
Yes.
I'm all for that. But the problem comes in when there are no jobs.
Yeah.
Okay? That's where the problem comes in. But even with that, I'm all for people creating their own jobs because,
Yes.
We've talked about that many times before, how people can do things to earn an income to take care of themselves if they are in enough need. Necessity creates ingenuity. But a lot of people need that push. And
Yes.
sometimes, many times we'll look at this as a bad thing, but it just may force some people to do what they have to do, you see. But again, if jobs are not available, it can become tough for some people, and not everybody's going to be able to think up something to do, you know. And so this is quite sad for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. It is. I apologize for the
Buffering.
blurriness and the buffering. It seems like it's telling me my bit rate is a little stream's bit rate is lower than what it should be.
Yeah.
But I'll have to go in and fix that when I get a chance. But anyway, like my wife said, sometimes you got to understand. Okay, let me say this to you, right? Everybody go through hard times, okay? And when you go through hard times, that's actually the moment that you should kick in, because I believe, in all honesty, that if y'all hadn't allowed hard times to come on me and my wife, come on our family, then we wouldn't have pressed more.
Mm-hmm.
The hard times pushed us to do more, to try more, to make things, to make things and to happen and to go out and that's why we became entrepreneurs, because it was hard times that did it, because we couldn't find a good job, and these are the things that you got to understand, it's meant to push you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get so to the point where you're just tired of the fight, well, if you're tired of the fight, imagine being in the ring with another boxer and you say, I'm tired of the fight. Well, he's going to just knock you out then, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what life does. Life will just knock you out. If you get too tired to fight, life will just knock you out cold. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So then you gotta push. And I understand it's hard. I know it's hard. Let me tell you something. Me and my wife wrote the book called Hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard out here. We know it.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta press. You gotta push through. You gotta keep praying. You gotta keep seeking on Yah. You gotta figure out ways that other things you can do to make money. You gotta do a righteous hustle. There's hustles out here a person can do. I'll never forget when I was young, it was hard for me to get a job. But let me tell you something. Every summer and every winter, I had things that I could do to make money, which was cutting grass and cutting bushes and landscaping and shoveling snow. I was glad when heavy snow came, because that meant I had a few $100, because I was going to go out and shovel some snow and make some money,
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is sometimes you got to just really press through when you go through these hard times.
The biggest problem we have as a people, though, I feel, is our own selves. And that
Yes.
being that we don't know how to do what these other nations are doing.
Yes.
These other nations, they will come together and literally make something happen on very little, because they put that hard work and effort into it. And they're not looking for something up front. They're looking at something on the back end, meaning, okay, hey, everybody, let's come together and put this time in. Let's put this work in, and on the back end, we will all reap the benefits. But when you have a group of people whose mind can't come together for anything, not even the minutest of things, that is a big problem for us.
Yes.
And right now, you might be comfortable. You might look at your family, say everybody's all right. It's not too bad, right? But what happens when times do get really bad? Now, one thing that we did want to do is have you all put some ideas in the chat here. And one of the main things that we have been pushing for years, some of you actually start following our channel because of some of our garden videos. But that is one of the most important things that we as a people can do for ourselves, because food is a necessity. I believe that unity is a necessity too, but that is one of the most difficult things for us as a people to do.
Yes.
Because being on one accord is more than just people saying that we have like minds. You can verbally say that, but the proof is in the pudding. You see, everybody wants to do the deed in their mind, but when it comes to actually performing the deed with your hands, putting your hand to the plow, that's where people fall short sometimes.
Yes.
And they don't see and understand the importance of things.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's, my wife hit the hammer right on the nail with that one. Some people don't understand that you got to. it's saying one thing and doing is another. Okay, it's two different things. You can say it all day long and not make one move toward it. Scripture says, "Faith without works is dead."
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, faith without works is dead. You got to do something, you know. And sometimes the Most High want to bless you, but you have to give Him something to bless. And that was something that my pastor used to say back in the day, some 25, 30 years ago. My pastor used to say, he said, you got to give Him something to bless. The Most High want to bless you, but you got to give Him something to bless. And I'm like, well, but what do you mean? And he kept saying, give Him something that He could bless, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but when you just got to sit there with your hand open, and sometimes the Most High, He wants you. Let me say something to you. Let me explain something to you. When Yahushua Mashiach went out and He chose people to be His disciples, who did He choose?
People who were working, fishermen and
exactly. People
tent makers.
Some of them were entrepreneurs. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They were entrepreneurs. They had their own businesses and stuff. People that were doing their own thing. He said, he didn't go and pick Leroy that was laying back chilling. You know what I'm saying? He said, no. I need somebody that's up and that want to get up and work. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes you got to understand he wants to bless and open doors, but sometimes we're the ones that's closing the door.
That's right. I like what Little Mama said here. She says she read that over $400 billion were spent for the holidays, okay? And how much of that were black dollars? And I always wondered that as well, Little Mama, because around tax time, I like to make an appeal to our people to do something worthwhile with your tax refund if you are expecting one. Something worthwhile. Not buying no clothes and no shoes and treating yourself to no vacation and nothing frivolous like that, but something worthwhile. I like to appeal to our people to do that, because that is probably the best time of year to try to make some change in your life if you don't have something already going. Especially because we keep getting all of these flash warnings about things about to happen. And I want to encourage focus on the truth. She says that her garden yielded some veggies last year, but she was discouraged and didn't try again this year. When it comes to stuff like that, keep this in mind. I remember we asked our children some years ago, we were just, having a family discussion, and we asked them how did they feel, or how would they feel if we decided not to do a garden this year. And the children, I forget which one it was, I think it was Rebecca or Sophia, one of them said that they think it would be very irresponsible of us if we decided not to plant a garden this year.
Isn't that something?
And so we have to understand how important this stuff is.
Yes.
This is so very important. If we had no other options, we would get out there in the heat. We would get out there when it's a little bit chilly outside. Even in the rain, if we had to, we would get out there and do what we had to do to make sure that we had some food growing. Mm-hmm. I think it's so very important that we get ourselves to the point where we see the necessity of things rather than seeing them as a burden, especially, even if you yourself may not be on food stamps, but you have loved ones that may be on there or on food stamps, and they may call on you for help. Wouldn't it be awesome if you already had 20 heads of cabbage growing and 500 tomatoes, 600 cucumbers all growing on it would be awesome to be able to say, okay, why don't you go in my yard and do some grocery shopping, because I have plenty of food growing, you see. And we've got to get to the point where we see how important that is and not look at it like it's a big chore for us.
Yes, exactly. It's something. I'm going to tell you something. Looking at them, what they're talking about doing, that's a lot of people that can be in some really hard times, and I gotta admit, it's a scary feeling when you're in a situation and you may be laid off, or you might be only have a part-time job and you don't have enough income coming in to where you have to go and get food stamps, and you got 2 or 3 children and they are counting on you. That's a hard one. You know, they count on you to do something. They count on you to bring some money in, and here they come talking about cutting off the food stamps. And if they do, then it's like, what you gonna do? All we're saying is, don't wait until they shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
Do all that you can. That's why I like the scripture. When the scripture says, having done all, then you just stand there. If you done did it all, you done did all that you can do, then just stand, you know, but do all that you can do first.
Right.
Don't just stand and you ain't did nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't just stand, you ain't did nothing. Do all that you can do.
I like what Yaira, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I like what she said. She says her daycare kids love gardening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that kind of reminds me of years ago when we had other kids that were coming to our homeschool. We gave them like a little plot, and we said, okay, this is your spot, this is your spot, this is your spot.
Mm-hmm.
And we were showing them, teaching them how to work in the soil, how to plant seeds, and
No. Okay.
wonderful.
Okay. Good. So basically, like my wife was saying, you know, when we gave our children, little areas to do, I'm telling you, you talk about kids lighting up. When we say, hey, I tell you what, we want y'all to create your own garden area, you know, not just fruit and vegetable garden area, but a garden area where you could actually relax and do this and relax. And when I get a chance, this next spring, maybe y'all willing, if I get a chance, I want to film them in their little garden areas that they made. But they're so excited about planting, and I mean, they're excited about anything dealing with gardening. They're excited, and I'm telling you, there are times where their fun is, Daddy, I want to know if I can go over and work in my garden area. That's the fun that they want to do. Wow.
We are so just blown away by the fact that
yeah.
they love gardening this much. As a matter of fact, they will spend their own money to buy seeds and flowers. They're like, I want some of these in my area, and you know.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to see them light up like this. And they're even talking about the possibility of having a business doing some of these things.
Yes.
They enjoy building little structures and things, and planting food. So there's a number of different things that you can do to get your children involved, because they need to know how important it is too.
Yes.
We were talking to two of our boys today when we were traveling, and we were talking about how Gentiles, because you know, because we live in a country area, you're always passing large plots of land. This is growing, that's growing. You see cattle over here and such, and blah blah blah, and goats. You just see a lot of that. And we were talking about how Gentiles, because when we went to actually go buy something from, you know, we do a lot of shopping on Facebook Marketplace, and we've talked about that before too, where you can get these super deals on different things.
Yes.
But we went to buy something, and it was a guy, and then he had his friend there, somebody who he had known since they were 4 years old, and they own these huge plots of land, just right next.
They're old as me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right next door to each other, and it used to be their father's lands. Fathers have passed on, and now it's their land, right? And so we talked about how we've known our own people who have had land, but they are not interested in it.
Yeah, their parents grandpa used to have a 100-acre farm, you know, and here he is. He's like, he's ready to retire, ready to pass it on because he can't do the work no more. And he's ready to give it to his children. Don't want it. His grandchildren don't want it. That's how it is in among our people. We don't want land. We don't want a farm. We don't want cattle. You know why? Because it means work.
Yes.
That's a shame.
And we know what we're talking about, family. There was actually a documentary on YouTube. I forget the name of it, but they were talking about the old timers as they age and they get in their 60s and 70s and even going into their 80s. They're like, I'm going to die one day.
Yeah.
And I've already talked to my family, and nobody seems to be interested in taking over the family farm. And that is so sad to me. It is so sad, because when we saw these two Gentiles today, the two buddies just, you know, they hanging out, got their lands right next door to each other, been friends since age 4 and all
I thought
this
they were
stuff.
brothers. That's how close they are.
Right.
I thought they were brothers, you know?
Yeah. And that's how we ended up finding out, because he thought they were brothers, and he said, "Oh, you guys are brothers." He said, "Well, we might as well be brothers. We've known each other since we were 4 years old," and blah blah. That's how we got into the conversation about all of that. But when I look at how they are nurturing that land, they're proud to be the next generation to own that land, and doing what they have to do on that land, raising animals and just farming the land.
Yes.
And when I see that our people are not interested in doing that, I don't think we see the bigger picture. And I do think sometimes social programs have hurt us.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people may not agree with that, because many of us grew up in the city.
Yeah.
If you grew up in the city, I understand you think in that way, but we have to understand that just because we think that way doesn't mean it's the right way.
Yes.
We've got to get back to the idea of not worrying about whether or not the Trump administration is going to kick people off of food stamps.
Exactly.
And saying, you know what, even if he does, we got this.
We got this.
We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to come together. I mean, when we were talking about this earlier, we were talking about the fact that the churches, technically, they should have programs in place where they are helping their parishioners to be self-sufficient.
Now, in fact, that's in the Word. The Scripture tells you that the church, Yah's church is actually supposed to be the taking care of Yah's people, the widows and the homeless and the people that are having a hard time. They supposed to kick in and do that, but it ain't like that. You see.
Many of these churches, I mean, they literally rake in billions. And I'm sorry, with all of that money that they're pulling in, even if it's just millions, that's enough. They should own land, okay, in the vicinity of their churches. And on that land, they need to have food, livestock, all kinds of programs that they're putting in place for their people. That's what they need to do, instead of the pastor having a $65 million jet and all of these mansions and estates and all of this ridiculous stuff. Why not have farms? I mean, it's okay if you're going to have your house, that's fine. If you're going to have your land, that's fine. But when you're raking in that kind of money, and you see that the handwriting on the wall says that we're going to have a disastrous economy, you got all these members, why not utilize some of those church funds and buy land big enough so that it can be cultivated? You can have 500 heads of cattle, 1,000 heads of goat, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And even that would even provide jobs for some of your parishioners.
Yeah. You know what's amazing? I was looking at this article here. It says that the total revenue of all churches is $123 billion. $1 billion is enough to make a huge difference. These churches collect $123 billion.
And they have for as long as I can remember, they've been collecting that kind of cash.
Yeah.
And to the person who said if Trump was going to do it, he would have done it by now. I mean, that may very well be the case. Trump is not the only person here to consider, because there have been people who have lost their benefits in past years. Some people have lost their Section 8. A lot of people have lost social programs or even had cutbacks in things that they were getting, making it more difficult for them to live. And the point we're trying to make is that we should get to the point where our people shouldn't have to depend on this to begin with. But that's a mindset that needs to be changed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something, I tell you, I don't know what to say sometimes, you know. I think that when we see these articles and we hear this news, I understand that sometimes we see it all the time, because I remember they were talking about cutting people off of food stamps a couple of years ago, you know, and it really didn't pan out. I don't think they cut much at all. If they did,
they did cut some. Yeah, they cut the benefits, the amounts. I mean, I know people personally whose amounts were just cut way down.
Yeah, and so the bottom line is, we still got to take heed, even though it could be a false flag. It could be something that ain't even going to happen, but still take heed.
Right.
I mean, I'm just keeping it real, right? If somebody kept telling me that something bad was about to happen, and yeah, okay, well, just in case.
Yeah.
Let's do this and let's do that, just in case, right? I mean, you got to. I just feel like sometimes, in all honesty, I think we are too relaxed as a people. We went through so much,
Yes.
but it seemed like that all the stuff we've been through would make us be up on our P's and Q's, make us just anxious to get things done and to work hard, and it seemed like that would happen to us. But instead, it seemed like we just become too relaxed.
Yeah, like Chris
Too laid
says,
back.
yes, we've gotten. Chris Oates says that we've become too complacent.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening. We're just going about our day like robots. The same old.
Yeah.
They go to work in some cases. Come home, play video games, watch TV, sit back, chill, hang out with my buddies, go to the club, all of this kind of stuff. Just a never-ending cycle of just nothing, not pushing towards any goals. And I know this is not all of us, but when you look at the bigger picture, when you look at the masses, too many of our people are stuck in a zone to where they're not taking life serious.
Let me tell you something. Do you know how many people that when Black Friday came around, they couldn't wait to rush these places just to give them their money, they hard-earned money? Yeah, but you getting these deals, okay? But let me explain something to you. I still don't understand why every Black Friday, everybody going there to get a big screen TV. Didn't you already have one? You need another one?
And if you look up the prices, what did they do? Give you $10 or $20 off of the price that they usually have it?
I mean, some of these things, I'm not understanding the need to spend all this money. Let me share something with you, right? Now, I know these video games, Xbox and all that stuff. I know that when Black Friday come, I know some of you guys out there will flood these stores to get that latest Nintendo, that latest Xbox, that latest virtual reality video game. But it's like, man, that stuff costs a lot of money. That stuff be $600, $700, $800, and people you just rushing to get that money away just so you can have a little fun. And all I'm saying is, plan different, because if times get really hard, you ain't gonna be able to eat that video game.
Right.
Your children aren't gonna be able to eat that video game, right? That big screen TV, you ain't gonna be able to slice it up and have it for supper. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to just look at things on a serious tip and say, wait a minute, we already got a TV. We don't need another one. Me and my wife, we've gotten to the point to where I remember we had a TV. we had a big screen TV, all right, but it wasn't really big, it wasn't huge, but it was a old style TV.
Are you talking about the one that was real big, fat, this wide, and like that?
TV was this wide from front to back. And it was so doggone here. Everybody had these little thin TVs on their walls and everything. We still had this big, giant, fat old TV.
We found it for $30 on Craigslist, but it worked.
but it worked. We put that TV in there. It was like, it looked all big and bulky sitting up there. But we was like, hey, we gonna just...
We held on to it for years.
Yep. And then when we finally got rid of it, it was kind of like, okay, we got to get rid of it. But I remember when some of this stuff was sky high and people were going out buying it. And you got to know those prices going to come down. Just wait. Be patient. You don't have to have some of these things, right? Just wait, But I don't know. It's sometimes I just don't know what to think sometimes. I think that, I don't know what to think. I think that these hard times that we getting our signals mixed up. And I think that we don't realize what y'all's trying to do. Let me say something to you. I thank Yah for all the hard times that I went through financially. Growing up, that me and my wife even went through after we got married. I thank Yah for those things, because those hard times, I wouldn't want to go back. I wouldn't want to go back through it, But at the same time, I sit back and I say, man, if Yah had to put those hard times on us, we wouldn't have been able to push through and make businesses work. we were able to, y'all forced us to make a business work. We got to make a business work because we ain't making enough money with our jobs. He forced us. You get what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, I think that we're getting our signals mixed up when we go through hard times. Yah is trying to teach you how to fight. He's trying to teach you how to push through. He's trying to teach you how to become something other than a person that's just dependent on this system.
Remember what the word says. It says faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of our people say they riding around on faith. They don't understand. The Most High, he said, I knew that thou were a hard man.
Yeah.
You know, so the Most High is not expecting us to sit back and have blind faith, sitting back just meditating all day, reading the Bible all day, and saying, I have faith that Yah is going to make a way. He don't expect us to do that. He expects us to do what we have to do and make something work, make something happen.
He expects you to put that money to the exchangers. You hear what I'm saying? He expects you to put your money, instead of blowing your money on nonsense, he expects you to put that money to the exchangers so that when he comes back, what did he say? So you should have did. So the guy, the wicked servant, what did he say? He said, I knew that you were a hard man. I took your money and I didn't want to lose it, invested it. So I just took it and I put it in the bank, basically is what he said. I hid your money. So here it is. Here's the $10 that you gave me. I still have the 10. He got angry with him and said, you should have doubled that money. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm going to take from you and give it to those that doubled their money. Wow. He was talking about money when he was talking about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we spend too much money on garbage as a people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're not aggressive enough as it relates to trying to make things happen for ourselves. I think we're just not aggressive enough, and I think we've lost all our fight pretty much. And I think that's part of the problems. But we want to open the door for some solutions.
I like what Sister Ariana said. She says, I cannot think of spending $800 on a phone on credit. I agree with you. What I don't get it.
Okay.
When I hear people spending that kind of money on a phone, it just blows my mind.
I don't get it either.
The kind of phone we have, cell phone, it basically stays in the vehicle. It's what you pay as you go, and it's a little small nothing phone.
You can't do nothing on that phone.
The only thing that phone is for is really just to
make calls.
just emergency.
You can't get on the internet with it, can you?
You can, but we don't bother.
I don't even know how to get on the internet on the thing,
right.
you know.
You know, and it's not that we're proud of not being on top of technology, because our son, he has one of those phones that you're talking about, Sister Ariana. But we're like, why spend it? I don't care if you do say I can pay $20 or $30 or $40 a month. I just don't get it. But I understand everybody's different. That's just us.
I can't spend no $1,000 on no phone. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't use the phone enough for that, for me to spend that much money. When I get that cell phone, okay, call. That's it. When we in the car, you know. But other than that, I don't understand it. You know. But hey.
Yeah.
That's us though. We're like dinosaurs as it relates to some of this technology, and you know. So.
Well, someone said something about stacking up on canned goods. Absolutely, I definitely agree that that's a good idea.
Yes.
Now, some will make the argument that processed food is not good for you. We know that.
Yeah.
Okay. But an issue of emergencies, I have a feeling that all of those healthy eaters and people who wouldn't dare eat something out of a can, when a time comes and hard times are spreading just like the flu, that stuff in the can is going to look good to everybody.
And they ain't going to care if high fructose corn syrup is in it. They ain't going to care if MSG is in it. They ain't going to care if any of that stuff is in it. Because when hard times come, ain't nobody going to be looking at them labels. They're going to be looking at that can and finding a way to open that can. You know what I'm saying?
Although I do think that a person who is storing up food, you can make a conscious choice to store up food that is
that's healthy for you.
Yeah,
don't store it. Right, I mean, I wouldn't
necessarily say it's healthy, but at least not have high fructose corn syrup and some of those other things.
Because that stuff is going to do you in eventually, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, exactly. But in those hard times, though, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're going to store up canned goods, do that. You know, store up some canned goods and store up some stuff that's good for you. Not nothing that you. I mean. What's the point if you're storing up stuff that's going to make you sick eventually in the long run, you know?
And Yanis says beans and potatoes go a long way. That's absolutely right.
Yes.
If you can't grow anything, you can grow some beans and potatoes. Tomatoes grow easy as well. But I did a video where I was talking about growing ginger inside of your house, because we also need those medicinal things too, or those things that are healthy for our bodies. Anything that you can grow inside, go for the gusto on that. Whether it's ginger or aloe or cilantro, any type of herbs that you can grow inside, I would definitely say do that. Okay? And I do understand that many have limited space, but just grow whatever you can. They do have little herb kits that you can grow in your kitchen. If you have a windowsill that you can put them on, or a counter that you can put them on, get yourself an herb kit, all kinds of things that you can do. But we've talked about solutions before in terms of connecting with family members who may not necessarily want to grow a garden. Someone said that their grandmother let them grow a garden in her yard. And so seek out whatever avenue you can, family, because that is going to be the thing that we need to do more than anything, is growing our own food. That's one of the biggest bills that you can have, is trying to feed yourself. And so that's why we should tackle that one as best as we can.
I'm gonna tell you, like some people said, you're storing up rice and beans. Those are excellent items to store up. Rice and beans are really good items.
Especially in Mylar bags. Make sure you put it in those, because of the bugs that can. I don't know how the bugs get in, but sometimes they do.
Absolutely. But I'm gonna tell you, like we're saying, just do what you can and try to, if you got a little plot of land or someone you can work with, just do just that. Try your best to just grow some things, save some seeds. We've been giving away seed vaults, and we do that so that you will have something to play. And then you should have some emergency seeds too. I'm serious. Get yourself some emergency seeds. They sell emergency seed kits on the internet. And these emergency seed kits don't cost a lot of money, but you can get these seed kits. You of course you want seeds that you're going to be planting, but you should also have an emergency bank, so that, hey, if things do go crazy and you already planted some stuff, but hey, I got these put away so that I can plant even more now because I got this put away.
Yes. As a matter of fact, real soon here, probably, I'm going to say, maybe sometime in February, y'all willing. It could be before then, possibly in January, y'all willing. We are going to be giving away some of the seeds that we gathered from this year. I talked about that squash, that Kershaw squash and butternut squash. It kind of reminds me of sweet potatoes, but they get so big, y'all. And we literally can feed our whole family with one of those Kershaw squash things. They're so huge. But they have so many seeds. You get those seeds out of there, and that allows you to grow hundreds more.
Let me tell you something. I remember when we grew that butternut squash when we were, at our other property that we were staying in. I'm telling you, it was amazing. We grew so much butternut squash. And they got huge. Some of them got this big, big old butternut squash. That's one item, I'm telling you right now, it grows so easy. And you can grow a lot of them, and they'll take you a long ways too. So I strongly recommend that. That is one of the items, the butternut squash and the other squash that you mentioned. What they call them, pumpkin squash or something? Kershaw, okay.
And someone said candles, absolutely. But anyway, family, doing the best that we can for ourselves, so we don't even have to even care about what Trump is doing. That's the point, the place we need to be at. But I know that all of our people aren't going to get there. They're not all going to get there. But if we are handling our business, we should be able to help those who we can. And one of the biggest things that we feel that we can do to help one another is definitely sharing seeds and encouraging one another. And if you're in close proximity to anyone, share what you grow. I mean, whatever you can do, that is what we must do, family. Because when these hard times come crashing upon the U.S. economy, because they've been used to this gravy train for so long. When it all finally goes shebang, a lot of people are going to be left high and dry, and it's going to be very difficult to just sit back and watch this happen.
Yeah.
So I think we should all do what we can, family, because we love one another,
Yes.
or at least we should love one another.
This is why it's important that it's, as a people, I'm just gonna keep it real. It's something when I see other nations come together to do farming, to do they get a little lot of land, and they just grow all this food and get vacant lots and grow all this food, you know. And we gotta have them come to our neighborhoods to try to help us. Come on, we're gonna get y'all to grow some food on these lots. Why they gotta come get us to do it? You know, why are we just trying to do it?
Right.
See, let me tell you something. We're without excuse because seeds are extremely cheap.
Yeah.
If you get $10, you can buy enough seeds to plant a whole acre full of food
Yeah.
with just $10 of seeds. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you look at the fact that what you can do with just a few bucks in seeds, so why do we need someone else to come and look at us and say, "Oh, let's go help them. They so pitiful. Let's go help them get a garden going." You know, we're gonna plant food in their neighborhoods, and you know they have no food. I just don't understand that. Why is it they come together to do these things, but we seem to look at it and like it ain't no big deal. We ain't even trying to get together with it. You gonna get in touch with a couple people. I'll never forget years ago. I have to bring this up. I'll never forget years ago when I talked to this one brother about getting a vacant lot or two and growing some vegetables on it. And I said, in that way, you know, there's some food there for people that need it, that are homeless or whatever. He looked at me and said, he was a person that was pretty much homeless. And he said this to me. He said, "I tell you what, y'all get it going."
He said, "You and your family, get it going."
Yeah, he said, you and your family get it going. And when harvest time comes, I'll come and pluck the food. And I said, "Do you hear how you sound?"
He said, "We'll come and help you harvest."
Yeah, he sure did. I said, "Do you hear how you sound, brother?" I said, "So you want me and my family to get out there and do all the work for you so that you can just come get the food?" That's our problem. That's it right there. None of us want to work to do it. That's why we don't want no farm. You know, we don't want farm. We don't want land. It's too much work.
As a people, not
As a
us.
people, right.
As a people,
exactly.
a lot of our people don't want the responsibility.
Yeah.
They think it's too much work. Like Yania says, I agree, and we do this as well. Anything that you are buying, like bell peppers, got that big chunk of seeds in there, get that stuff out. That ain't trash.
Yeah.
That is food.
Yeah, that's food.
Yeah, so grab that stuff and
Yeah.
look at that as a future savings. I look at it like a savings, because when you go buy bell peppers, sometimes they're 69, 79, 80 cents a piece. So imagine that one seed that could yield you dozens of bell peppers. That's how we have to look at this thing, family.
Listen, you know how many seeds in a watermelon? You know how many seeds are in a watermelon? You understand what I'm saying? And those of you that live in the lower states, southern states, man, one watermelon, you go and buy a watermelon, you get all those seeds when y'all done eating it, and plant those seeds. You know? And not only just watermelon, cucumbers, literally everything out there that you buy and eat that are vegetables have seeds. You know what I'm saying? So try to plant this. If you get a tomato, guess what? It's seeds and tomatoes, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So our solution is within our own hands, family.
Yes.
We don't have to care nothing about the Trump administration and what he's doing.
That's
All
right.
we need to do in regards to this is sound the alarm to the sleepers. That's all we do.
Yes.
We like to wake our people up. And get this, over the years, many of you have given your testimony that you've started your gardens or started growing your food, even if it's on a small scale, large scale. Some of you are doing it on a large scale. And so that is encouraging to us to hear that some of you are actually doing this.
Yes, it is. It is very encouraging, you know.
Little Mama says she's trying to find watermelon in Florida that's not seedless. Sometimes it's very difficult to find seeded watermelons.
Yeah.
But I don't get why people make such a fuss over that, because I don't mind the seeds myself.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, because everywhere you go, they're selling them without the seeds.
Yeah.
But I would say if you have the space, because watermelons can become very invasive, they'll take over. But it's well worth it if it's going to yield you a bunch of fruit. So if you have the space, go for the gusto.
Yeah. I mean, 30 watermelons will get you through a whole summer. 30 watermelons,
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of watermelons, and that's nothing to grow that many with a few seeds. So, if you got the space for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, family, we didn't want to hold you all too long. We just wanted to chime in a little bit here tonight and just encourage you again.
Yes.
Like I said, in the coming months, we're going to be giving away some more seeds. We collected a whole bunch of them. Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of the squash and the sunflowers, some other seeds we have as well, like the coxcomb seeds. We're going to give that a try here to grow that in more abundance before we start giving those away. Those are edible flowers. I did a video about that. They're so beautiful. It's hard to imagine that you could eat something so beautiful.
Yes.
But apparently they put it in stews, and it's popular on the continent. I was really shocked to see that. But we plan on trying to grow a bunch of that this year. Yah willing. Yah willing. Everything is Yah willing. If it's His will, we will do this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
But we thank you all for tuning in tonight with us.
I want to leave you with this image here. It was kind of comical when I saw this image. It was about Donald Trump. But here you go.
Look at him. He plans to cut aid to millions of families, and he's telling people, you need to go on a diet. Look at that. Ain't that something? That's just the way it is, too, family.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Yeah.
But we love you all, and we thank you for joining us. We thank you for your encouragement, and those who support the ministry. Thank you very much. But it's time to say good night.
Good night, family.
Good night, family. Shalom.
Enjoy your night. Shalom.
Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.